Do you understand English, but freeze when it's time to speak? Maybe you've studied for years. You know the grammar, you know the words, but when you try to talk, something blocks you. Your mouth stays closed, or worse, you speak and make a mistake. And then comes the shame, the silence, the thought, maybe I'm just not good at this. But what if that's not true? What if one mistake is the beginning of real progress? In today's episode, I will tell you a simple story. It starts with a small mistake and ends with something powerful. You will listen, you will repeat with me, you will practice English slowly, calmly, deeply, and maybe you will see your own story in it. This is not just a podcast. It's a safe space, a place to speak without fear, a place to grow. Follow this channel, share this video, and speak with me. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to show up. It was a normal day, nothing special. The sky was blue and the air felt light. He was having lunch with co-workers. They sat at a table near the window. People were laughing, eating, and speaking in English. He listened carefully. His heart beat a little faster. He understood the words. That felt good. He smiled and thought, maybe I can speak too. He looked at his plate. Then he looked up. He wanted to say something. A small joke. Something light. Nothing too big. Just to join the moment. Just to be part of the group. He opened his mouth. His hands felt warm. His chest felt tight. But his eyes were brave. His brain said, go, try. So he did. That's a very powerful moment. Most people don't see it, but I see it. And I want you to see it too. It's the moment before you speak, the moment before you show your voice. It's filled with hope, with fear, with courage. Even if the words are simple, the feeling is not. That small decision means everything. He wasn't trying to be perfect. He just wanted to connect, to feel part of something, to feel less alone. Isn't that what we all want? To be included, to be heard, even for 1 second. Even if your English is not perfect, your heart is there. That's what makes it powerful. Some people think speaking is only about grammar, but I say speaking is about emotion. When you try to speak, you are not only using words, you are using your past, your dreams, your pain, your courage. And when someone tries to speak, we must respect that. Even if the sentence is wrong, the courage is right. Now, imagine this. You are in that same situation. You feel ready to speak. You want to say one small thing. What can help you? Breathe first. Touch the table. Look at the person and say just one sentence. Even, that's funny, or I like this food. It doesn't need to be clever. It needs to be yours. In these moments, practice helps. You can't control the situation, but you can prepare. Repeat sentences out loud at home. Practice with slow videos. Shadow the speaker. Copy their rhythm. Speak to yourself in the mirror. It sounds simple, but it builds your power. It builds your calm. Some people say, I understand English, but I freeze when I try to speak. Yes, that's real. Because understanding is passive, speaking is active, it touches your identity, it opens your fear, it asks you to stand up. So when you try to speak, even a little, I see you, and I respect you, deeply. Sometimes we feel ready and still make a mistake. That's what happened next. The moment came. He opened his mouth. He wanted to say something funny, something light, but one word was wrong. It came out fast. He didn't even notice at first. But then, silence, followed by laughter. Not the good kind. They weren't laughing with him. They were laughing at him. His smile froze. His body felt heavy. He wanted to disappear, to vanish, to rewind time. But life doesn't have a rewind button. It wasn't a bad word, just the wrong word. Maybe he mixed two sounds, or used the wrong verb. Maybe the sentence meant something silly or strange. It happens. It happens to everyone. But when it happens in front of people, it feels like the ground opens. You fall. And in your mind, that small moment becomes huge, like a mountain. And now you're stuck under it. One mistake, 1 second, and suddenly you feel like you don't belong. You ask yourself, why did I say that? Why did I even try? You look around, they're still laughing. They don't know how much it hurts. They move on quickly, but you don't. He didn't say another word that day. He stayed quiet. He smiled on the outside, but inside he felt small, like a child again, powerless. And that joke? He had practiced it. He had said it at home many times, but one mistake stole it from him. This is the part people don't talk about. Not in books, not in class. The shame after a small mistake. It's not the grammar that hurts, it's the feeling of failure, like you were trying to fly and you crashed. And now you don't trust your wings. You think, maybe I should stay on the ground. But is that really the answer? We all fear that laugh, that look, that one moment when our English shows its cracks. But here's the truth. Everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. But beginners, they feel the mistakes more because they carry years of silence, years of doubt. So one small moment feels like proof. See, I can't speak. And yet, what if that moment could teach you something? What if the laugh wasn't the end of the story? What if the feeling you hate now is the same feeling that will make you stronger later? Because in the middle of that pain, something starts to grow. It's small, quiet, almost invisible, but it's there. And in a few days, you'll start to feel it. Not today, not yet, but soon. One small moment can feel very big. And sometimes the pain stays, but the silence that follows, it's not the end. It's just the beginning of something else. For 2 days he didn't speak much. He still went to work, still smiled, still nodded. But inside his mind was loud. It kept playing the moment again and again. The laugh, the look, the mistake. It felt small to others but big to him. He thought, why did I even try? He told himself, that was stupid. And soon he believed it. The silence grew deeper. Shame is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, but heavy. It stays in your chest, in your shoulders. It whispers, don't speak again. It tells lies like, you're not good enough. And if we listen too long, we stop trying. We avoid English, not because we don't want it, but because we're afraid to feel that pain again. He started to doubt everything, not just the joke, but his English, his learning, his progress. He thought about all the hours he studied, all the videos he watched. And suddenly, it felt useless. He said, what's the point? This will never work. This is not for me. And just like that, the dreams started to shrink, and the fear became bigger. This happens to so many people. They have one bad experience, and it becomes a wall, a big, cold wall between them and the life they want, a life where they speak, where they connect, where they don't feel invisible. But the wall says, no, you'll fail again. And they believe it, even when it's not true, even when they have the strength to climb it. Negative thoughts come fast. You don't need to call them. They just arrive, and they speak with confidence. You're bad at English. You're too old to learn. You'll never sound natural. But those voices, they're not facts. They're fear, and fear sounds very loud when you're tired. In these moments we often quit, not with a big decision, but with small choices. We stop watching English videos. We avoid speaking. We stay quiet in class. We nod and smile, but we feel far away. We keep the pain inside, and on the outside life looks normal. But inside, something important is missing. The belief in ourselves. If this feels familiar, please know, you're not alone. Millions of people go through this. Strong people, smart people, people like you. But here's something they don't always hear. Shame is not the truth. It feels real, yes. It feels big, but it's not who you are. It's just a moment, a wave, and waves always pass. So what do we do now? How do we move from this heavy place? Is it possible to speak again, even after falling? 3 days later, he was home alone. It was evening. The room was quiet. He didn't plan to do anything in English, but YouTube opened by itself, and there it was, a video, a teacher speaking slowly. He almost clicked skip, but something said, wait. The teacher said, every mistake is a teacher. He paused, rewound, listened again. The sentence hit something deep. It felt like a hand on his shoulder. He picked up his notebook. He didn't feel strong, but he wrote the sentence, "Every mistake is a teacher." His handwriting was slow, careful. It wasn't just a sentence, it was a choice, a small decision to try again. No big promise, no loud motivation, just a soft maybe. Maybe the mistake wasn't a failure. Maybe it was just part of the path. He remembered other moments in life, learning to drive, cooking his first meal, sending his first email at work. He made mistakes then too, but he didn't quit. Why is English different? Why does it feel more personal? Because your voice is part of your identity. When you speak, you show yourself. So every mistake feels like rejection. But maybe rejection is not the truth. Maybe it's just a moment of discomfort, and discomfort is where growth happens. Just like the body grows with movement, the mind grows with practice. He looked at the notebook again. Every mistake is a teacher. He said it out loud, softly, then louder, and for the first time he believed it. If you're reading this, maybe you've had that moment too. That soft click, that quiet shift. It's not magic. It's not a big aha moment. It's gentle. It sounds like, maybe I can try again. And that small voice, it matters because that voice is you coming back to life, and it's stronger than shame. From that day, he made a plan, a small one, simple, no big goals, no perfect English, just 5 minutes a day. He wrote down sentences. He repeated them out loud. He watched videos with slow English. He said things like, "I'm learning, I'm not giving up." He didn't feel confident yet, but he felt curious again, and that was enough. Curiosity brought the courage back, and he didn't keep it to himself. He shared the quote with a friend. The friend smiled and said, "I needed that too." And just like that, one voice became two, and two became four. It's strange how healing works. It starts in silence, but it grows when shared. So never underestimate the power of one kind sentence. Sometimes one kind voice can change the story, even your own. Now the question is, what happens after the decision? What happens when you try again and still make mistakes? Did you enjoy the content and it made a difference for you? Click on Super Thanks and support our work. Now he still makes mistakes. Yes, even after all that. Sometimes the word is wrong, sometimes the sentence is messy, sometimes he forgets what he wants to say. But here's the difference. He doesn't stop. He takes a breath, smiles, says, "Wait, I meant this," and he keeps going. That's the new power he found. He doesn't wait for perfection anymore. He speaks with what he has. And every time he speaks, he learns. Every sentence is a step forward, even if it's slow, even if it's not pretty. He knows now, silence doesn't protect you, it only delays your growth. Speaking, even with mistakes, is the real practice, and practice is the only road to fluency. There is no other secret. He began doing small things daily, shadowing English videos in the morning, saying one new sentence out loud every night, writing short thoughts in a notebook, recording voice messages to himself, joining online groups for learners like him. He didn't always feel confident, but he showed up, even on the hard days, and showing up again and again became strength. Some days, he still feels shy, still worries. Did I say that right? But now he doesn't hide from the question. He answers it with action. He repeats the sentence. He fixes the word. He makes peace with the moment. That's the secret. Not being perfect, but being present and being willing to try again. He even started helping others. When a friend was afraid to speak, he said, "Your English doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be used." He remembered how lonely it felt to be stuck. So now he gives what he wished someone gave him: encouragement, patience, kindness. Sometimes we teach best what we had to learn the hard way, and that's what made him not only a learner, but also a guide. You grow when you speak, not when you hide. You learn by using your voice. Even if your voice shakes, even if you get stuck, Even if your grammar is wrong, English is not just a subject, it's a tool for connection. And the more you use it, the stronger it becomes, like a muscle, like a bridge, like a second home. So here's what he knows now. Your mistakes are not the enemy. Silence is. Your fear is not the end. It's the beginning. Every time you speak, you open a door to freedom, to connection, to self-respect. Don't close it. Walk through it, even if your steps are small. You learn English by speaking, not by being perfect. And now, it's your turn. So now you've heard the story. A mistake, a moment of shame, but also a turning point. That's how real learning happens. Now I want to ask you, have you been hiding your voice? What would happen if you spoke, even with mistakes? What if your next sentence could open a new door in your life? This is your moment. You don't need more perfect grammar. You need more practice, more action. Speak out loud. Repeat this video. Shadow the sentences with me. And when your fear speaks, speak anyway. What's one sentence you will say today? In English. Write it in the comments. Say it out loud. Make it real. If this episode helped you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who also needs courage. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and practice with me every week. Because fluency grows when you stop hiding and start speaking, and little by little every day.